Chapter 8. Secrets in the Silence. The sky was a quiet hush of indigo, stars flickering like ancient whispers above the National Mall. The city was winding down, the last tour buses growling into the distance, and even the Secret Service detail that shadowed Emily from a discreet distance seemed to relax. She wore a black hoodie and a plain pair of jeans, her father's old baseball cap pulled low to shield her face. Not from the public, but from the weight of her own identity. She stood in front of the Washington Monument, waiting. The crisp breeze carried the scent of fresh-cut grass and distant sirens. And then, footsteps. Nathan. He walked like the city didn't own him, like the pavement was just dirt and the buildings just trees he'd once leaned on. He wore the same tattered coat, but she noticed he'd cleaned up. His hair was less wild, his eyes less wary. "You came," he said softly. "You asked," she answered. There was a smile on his face that hadn't been there before. It wasn't polished or perfect, it was real. And for Emily Morgan, that was the most disarming thing in the world. They sat on the edge of the reflecting pool, the marble cold beneath them, their reflections shivering on the water's surface. "I've been thinking," Nathan said after a long silence, "about that day in the park. The first time we met? Yeah, you looked like a ghost, you know. Like someone who had everything but had lost something they couldn't name." Emily blinked. "You're not wrong." "And now?" he asked. She tilted her head. "Now I'm still figuring it out, but I know what I found." He looked at her, puzzled. "I found someone who saw me," she whispered. The words seemed to float between them, heavier than they should have been. Nathan looked away, his jaw tightening. "You shouldn't be here, Emily. You're the president's daughter." "I'm just Emily to you, remember?" "But they're watching. Your life, it's not yours. You don't get to disappear into alleyways and ride city buses without someone taking notice." "I don't want to disappear," she said, turning toward him. "I want to feel alive." He didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out something small. A necklace, just a string with a rusted flat coin dangling from it. It looked worthless, but it had the kind of wear that only comes from meaning. "This was my mother's," he said. "She gave it to me before everything fell apart." Emily took it gently in her fingers. "It's beautiful." "It's a reminder," he said, "that even when everything's gone, something stays. Something that matters." Their hands lingered too long. Her fingers brushed his and the pulse between them quickened. But then headlights washed over the lawn and a black SUV pulled to the curb. Emily's body stiffened. Nathan pulled back immediately. "That's your cue. I'm not ready to go." "You have to." She stood slowly, hesitation trembling in her steps. "Nathan." He stood too, tall and solemn beneath the night sky. "We can't be what you want us to be." "I'm not asking for forever," she said. "I'm just asking for a moment." He hesitated. "Then take it." And she did. Emily stepped forward and pressed her lips against his. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't reckless. It was honest. A kiss that held too many words neither of them could say. A kiss that didn't belong to palaces or press conferences or motorcades. It belonged to them. Then the car door opened. A man in a dark suit stepped out, tension etched in his every move. "Miss Morgan," he called. She stepped back. Her hand brushed Nathan's once more, and then she turned without another word. The SUV swallowed her whole. Nathan stood alone watching the taillights vanish. He knew what had just happened wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a war neither of them were ready for. But he also knew this. You don't kiss the president's daughter and stay invisible for long. End of chapter 8.
If this video sparked your interest, taught you something new, or simply made your day better, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you never want to miss out on content like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support helps us grow and keeps the content coming.